Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. It's Militia Man and Crew. Today is Wednesday the 26th, and I just want to say hi, and look who showed up. Little Winnie showed up. She did. She's been talking the blues because the sun's out, the door's open, and she's able to go outside. So she's in a good mood. But anyway, we have good news. Today's been a good mood. I hope everybody is, because I think that what we bring into Patreon has been amazing. I think all the information that our Super Samson brought in this morning, wee hours of the morning for me, it's just been stellar. It's been fantastic. And so the central bank governor inaugurates the 9th Finance and Banking Conference. It says here, His Excellency the Governor stressed that the current stage is witnessing a significant development in the electronic payment system by increasing the number of ATMs and credit wallets, something new that we haven't heard or talked about. But ultimately, it's been increasing the financial inclusion of the country, and it looks like went from about 20% in the past 2 years ago, and it's up to 40% as they're moving forward. So it's really good. The governor points out that the Iraqi banks are witnessing a qualitative transformations in their banking operations today, especially with regard to financial transfers of different currencies, by adopting approved global systems and programs that help them in these advanced transformations in financial services. In his speech today, he outlined the features of future banks that will transform from traditional entities to smart digital platforms and issue digital financial entities that facilitate financial transactions. And guess what? Without the need for banks. I think banks are changing a lot around the world, you guys. It says the financial banking system will witness a decline of paper currencies to be replaced by digital payments for central banks, and that the central bank is moving to create its own digital currency. We've talked about that in the past. And what it'll do, it'll gradually replace the paper process, as is happening in some central banks in the world already, indicating work to establish a data center, because that's what they'll need, in Iraq, similar to the major centers in the world, as it is an indispensable part of the digital economy and a basis for artificial intelligence, applications, big data analysis, and the internet. And it goes on to say that the central bank has begun steps in this direction, calling for the formulation of comprehensive Iraqi vision for digital transformation. So basically, what is it telling us? It says like they're going to have a decline in paper currencies. They're gearing towards central bank digital currencies, and ultimately they're just going to have a lot less paper to deal with. And having artificial intelligence, the applications, the big data analysis, and all that stuff is just an affirmation that the direction that they're going in is going to be a comprehensive one, and that digital transformation has already been started, and it's already it's been around a long time, but now they're openly, the central bank governor today, talking about it. So he goes on to another article. It says 1 million bank cards in Iraq, and the central bank supports electronic wallets, stressing that the bank, or the number of bank cards issued, is about 17 million cards throughout Iraq. That's pretty big. It's just about half their population. It says we again succeeded in raising the rate of financial inclusion to more than 40%. Central bank has achieved international integration by linking the electronic payment system to global networks. That ought to ring some bells, you guys. They've already achieved international integration by linking the Iraqi bank's electronic bank system to global networks, in which it'll contribute to enhancing cross-border financial transactions and facilitating digital payment operations. Central Bank Governor Al-Awlaki, he says, we directly supported the licensing and operation of electronic wallets via phone, which enabled more citizens to benefit from the digital banking services easily and safely. He reveals the number of permanent electronic wallets have reached 1.2 million wallets. These achievements in the field of electronic payment systems represent a fundamental shift in the Iraqi financial system. and contribute to strengthening the financial infrastructure and achieving digital transformation. So here again today, Al-Iraq is very vocal on what's going on with the country's financial inclusion process, having those 17 million cards, reaching that 40%. Basically, the central bank has achieved is international integration by linking the electronic payment systems to global networks. You guys, they're already ready to go. And they're ultimately stating so. It's basically all of this is for the citizens, the businesses, investors locally, regionally, and internationally. So basically what I think, Iraq's opening up to the world and they have international acceptance. So let's just see how that turns out. Okay, so you guys, the next one is it's basically going to be about the growth of electronic payment in Iraq. This says the country has recently witnessed a remarkable expansion in the use of electronic payment systems, whether the private sectors such as companies, stores, markets, or even government institutions and departments. I mean, they're pretty much hitting the whole gambit, you know. This person, I forget his name, doesn't say just yet, but his name is, there he is, Dr. Mohammed Ismet Bayati. It says this trend is a part of the digital transformation strategy that the government seeks to achieve abroad, financial and administrative reforms. So they had an interview with the news, and it says the government advisor, member of a specialized team, explained that the electronic payment has many advantages, most notably reducing corruption, reducing financial waste, and narrowing the gap in lost tax amounts. That's going to be a very big amount of money. We all know that the non-oil revenues, etc., are going to be a big deal, and at the end of the day, it's going to support the value of their currency. So Mr. Bayati, he says, a member of the Digital Transformation Advisory Team of the General Secretariat of the Council of Ministers, stressed that electronic payment is the cornerstone of Iraq's financial renaissance. So this is like a new beginning. It says the system enables broader financial inclusion, like we talked about, which contributes to integrating large segments of society in the formal banking system, thus reducing the size of the parallel economy, the black market, and enhancing the stability of its national currency. So they're looking to enhance the national stability of their currency. Iraq has basically been expanding the use of electronic payment systems in the private sectors, as they stated, with companies and stores and markets, government institutions, etc. So what does it tell us? It tells us that the trend is part of the digital transformation that she's rolling out to the Iraqi people at this stage. Okay, it says not only it's going to be Iraqi people, but it's regionally, because the cross-border payments, and globally. So it's amazing that they're having an integration, and we're watching it. So when they're going to get all of the amount of revenue streams that they've got coming, and they're doing it all digitally, it's going to be transparent, it's going to be fast, it's going to be efficient, and it provides a safety net for the people. So that's pretty powerful, and I don't know that we've ever seen this type of information coming out from the banking system, let alone Al-Iraq. This article is called "The National Bank of Iraq Wins the Excellence Award." Who is it from? It's from Citibank. For all you folks that have been in the Dinar for a long time, if you remember back 15 or plus years ago, who was there? Citibank was. But Citibank, in recognition of its outstanding performance, gave the Excellent Award to the National Bank of Iraq. It says that the National Bank of Iraq announced that it won this excellent award from Citibank, and it was in recognition for what? Its exceptional performance in managing incoming and outgoing financial transfers, stressing that this is an achievement that reflects its commitment to the highest standards of quality and transparency in banking services. That's the digital system. They're ready to go. This award is a global testament to the bank's efficiency in implementing financial operations with utmost precision, as it excels in ensuring that transactions are processed according to the highest international standards while providing the required documents in the correct manner and on time. Again, fast efficiency, that's what this was all about. And of course, Citibank has given the National Bank who is what? One of the leading banks in the Iraqi banking sector. So basically, the bank has worked to adopt the latest technologies to ensure speed and efficiency of these financial transfers, which provides customers with a safe and reliable banking experience. It's always about the citizens. They're going to be getting that at the end, and investors and the companies. Okay, it says the bank's work team at all administrative and functional levels have been providing the best banking services, achieving the highest levels of accuracy and transparency, stressing the bank's commitment to continue to do these operations, strengthening the partnerships with the global financial institutions in a way that ensures the provision of advanced banking solutions. And what are they going to do? They're going to keep pace with all the aspirations of just the customers, contribute to supporting the national economy. So ultimately, these guys have been doing what they were supposed to do for, the last 2 years, and here we are. We're watching them do what they did, what they said they were going to do, and they are providing the needs of the customers, enhance their financial confidence, providing integrated financial systems that support individuals and companies while adhering to the best international banking practices. So here again, the CBI governor announces integration of Iraq's e-payment system with global networks. I don't know how many times they got to talk about this, but here in this particular article, it says he emphasizes that he has achieved international integration by linking the Iraqi electronic payment system to global networks. So they're just hammering it home today. So Al-Awlaq in a speech again says there's a complete roadmap for digitization of banking services through these electronic payments as a key tool for this transformation, as the number of devices reached 63,000 devices in the governance of Iraq. This one's a little bit different because it mentions the 63,000 devices in the governances. And then it says those number of ATMs, they talk about 4,000 devices and a total of 17 million bank cards. Ultimately, it says the central bank supported the license and operation of mobile e-wallets. So the central bank governor is talking about this. These e-wallets that allow charging, transferring, and paying bills, which raise the financial inclusion to, again, that 40%. It says right here, we have achieved international integration by linking the Iraqi payment system to global payment networks, allowing the transformation of the acceptance of foreign cards, so the foreign cards, cross borders, locally, and expanding, so they can do the acceptance of foreign cards locally, and expanding the acceptance of Iraq cards internationally. I think if you guys understand that, you realize that that's cross-border payments, and that's going to be at a digital level, and it's also going to be needing a real effective exchange rate. They're not doing that today at 1310, but here they're telling you that they're ready and capable of doing it. So that's good. So these achievements in the field of information technology and electronic payments of the central bank are a fundamental shift in the financial system. So again, another article from Al-Awlaq, international integration, global payments, transformation, foreign cards. They've talked about foreign currencies, acceptance of these cards internationally. All of this is massive. Here's another good article. It's Maher Saleh. He's an advisor. He stresses that the importance of electronic payment in the digital transformation in Iraq. That's the article, Maher Saleh. He says Wednesday, electronic payment is one of the basic pillars, as he says, for achieving digital transformation. So electronic payments are a pillar. He says here that electronic payment contributes to reducing the size of the informal economy, which is the parallel economy, right? As it still constitutes about 70% of the operations of the Iraqi market, and it also enhances transparency in financial transactions and increases the citizens' confidence. All that. He's just reiterating the same thing in that, but the adoption of electronic payments basically contribute to reducing traditional transactions. And again, combat corruption, money laundering, but it also contributes to accelerating commercial operations and the capital cycle in the Iraqi market, and enhances the integration of the national income cycle. So digital transformation is and does lead to improving the management of the state's financial resources, which enhances its ability to collect taxes, fees more efficiently. And then it says they're at advanced levels of growth in building the unified treasury account. That's where Baghdad and Kurdistan will share the money to be able to be facilitated for payments for not only oil, but for salaries, as we'll note here shortly. So ultimately, what does it do? It also enables the Iraqi banking system to operate credit and grant loans. And we saw that with the Rafidain Bank and even the Rashid Bank the other day. So keep that in mind, which enables the banking system to operate credit and loans. Like I mentioned, it is saying that they'll have the least amount of banking liquidity risks, which effectively enhances the financial and economic development activity. So again, so they're hammering it home. The top people and the top players in Iraq are talking about all of this. So ultimately, accelerating commercial operations, the capital cycle, Iraqi market, integration, taking place supports the national economy. All of this stuff that they're talking about and speaking out is just truly amazing. I just can't believe it. Today, I think everybody has been kind of blown away with how much information that's coming out on this today. And so don't forget, we have other things that are going to be electronic. And one of those things is the border outlets. The border outlets article is they are looking into implementing government decisions and imposing that state to prestige. I'm not going to get into the whole Port Authority and all that good stuff, but the woman talking about this says that the agenda today was discussed, included many important paragraphs as the head of the authority stressed the sustainability of electronic work in full cooperation with the General Authority of Customs to complete their project in electronic governance and integration with them developing electronic auditing operations and data intersection in all stages of completing transactions related to goods. That's cross borders in and out of the country. The most important of which is auditing receipts, weights, images of goods through sonar, following up on official approvals, including exemption letters, matching certificates of origin, invoices, prior inspection, border sequences, delivery orders, and shipping bills to ensure that the smooth flow of work according to the accurate and real data that cannot be tampered with. And what is it for? It's basically in order to increase the state revenues and prevent fraud and forgery. Look, the border security is to be expected and increased now. So at this stage of the game, they're probably going to make sure that all the borders around the country are very tight and secure, and they will have fabulous control with the new systems in play, which reeks of the Escada system, which also in that view would be the World Customs Organization, and ultimately we'll probably hear some things about the WTO sometime soon. We'll see how that goes. Parliamentary Oil Committee. So now they're talking about the Parliamentary Oil Committee. Reveals a date for resuming regional exports and refutes smuggling accusations in the South. Well, they've been talking about smuggling. They've been talking about money laundering, illegal behavior in the parallel market. We've been talking about that a lot. But anyway, the Parliamentary Oil and Gas Committee revealed that the resumption of oil exports from the Kurdistan region will take place early next week. This gentleman by the name of Hariri, he says that the file of the region's oil exports is complex and it is linked to multiple factors, most notably the relationship between exports and imports. It is natural for the Ministry of Oil and federal government to assume responsibility for that management of the region's contracts and adapting them according to the law. It says what they are doing is a radical solution in the crisis lies in approving the oil and gas law, which faces a lack of flexibility on the part of the region in passing it. So they're talking about something that they had in the past, but they've taken care of a lot of that business already. So come into Patreon, check this out. You can read it. Ultimately, it says that so far that the amendments to Article 12 of the budget law are still continuing, and they believe that they need to nip that smuggling in the bud. That's what this particular article is talking about. And I would be not surprised with the pressure that we see mounting in many different sources. And even this afternoon, after I've done my data for the day, there's an article out talking specifically about some things that need to get taken care of, that the pressure is immense, and that's coming from the United States. So early next week cannot come fast enough as far as I'm concerned for exports through the Cyan port. Salaries are a key component, oil flowing, key component, and all these things need an exchange rate. They haven't done it before at 1310. They're not going to do it now. And again, now they have a digital system in place, so when they change the value of their currency based off what we believe, that'll be probably pretty seamless. It'll be fast and efficient, and it'll be based off a valuation that's based off a real effective exchange rate of the IQD. That's my belief of it. So now we're going to have to watch and see if it holds true. So here again, full circle, but in a little bit different topic. But now we have Al-Sudani. He's looking forward to resuming those oil exports, as they say, from the Parliamentary Finance Committee early next week. And that obviously is going through the Cyan port. He says holding such conferences with this high level of attendance and participation is evidence of Iraq's recovery and the consolidation of the democratic practices, as open dialogues and frank debates have become an essential part of the political approach. It enhances state building and serves the people's aspirations to achieve that security and stability. He says today Iraq is moving with confident steps towards integration with the international community based on a clear vision, based on cooperation, effective partnership in sisterly and friendly countries, and working to achieve a better future for the people. Iraq's government is basically keen on getting this done. Over the last 2 years, they've been on a principle of Iraq first, sounds familiar, in addition to positive interaction with regional environment and the international community. We've strengthened our relations with sisterly and friendly countries, common interests, mutual respect, which has made Iraq a bridge for dialogue and cooperation, and which contributed to restoring its leading role in the region under a concept that we have adopted a practical approach and that we have called productive diplomacy. So Al-Sudani explains Iraq's openness of the region and international levels as part of the ongoing approach to expanding economic partnerships benefiting from international expertise to support the national economy, as these efforts are not limited to a specific party, but rather include all partners in the international community, as a cooperation is being strengthened in various fields, ensure achieving sustainable development and a mutual benefit for everybody. So that's all of this is really coming together full circle. That's pretty happening. I love it. So it says, for this reason, we launched the Development Road Project to be an economic, cultural, and social bridge linking Asia to Europe. The government also worked diligently, so it has worked diligently, to enhance security cooperation, combat terrorism, especially since it has strong relations with members of the international coalition headed by the United States of America. Al-Sudani continues. He says, after passing the amendment to the budget law, so they've already done something, some of this stuff is past tense. It's really fascinating. He says, we now look forward to complementing the procedures for exporting crude oil to the port of Cyan and opening a new page with companies operating in the region, which will contribute to developing the Iraqi economy and providing justice to the citizens in the Kurdistan region, of course, by ensuring that they receive their full rights, salaries, and dues. Keep in mind, so that ultimately, Al-Iraq Central Bank, they said again today, we're working on creating a digital currency for the central bank to gradually replace. So Al-Iraq has, he had more than one article out today. Of course, we already talked about that, but I just want to hammer this one home. This is a different one. It's just really short. It says we're working on creating the digital currency, so it's to the point, for the central bank to gradually replace paper currency. So he's reiterating that in the same venue, I'm assuming. But it says the financial and banking system will witness fundamental transformations, including the decline of paper currencies, to be replaced by digital payments for central banks. The central bank is basically creating a digital currency of its own, and it will gradually replace the paper. So just hammering that home. But look, we just went over a brief stuff over all the powerful players in Iraq, in the financial system. Mohammed Saleh, you have Taif Sami's out talking about borders. We're talking about Al-Alaq and Al-Sudani. And so those are the biggest players that I think that everybody should be paying attention to. Obviously, there's peripheral articles that come and go that are not quite consistent. And you know what? We have to take in the good and throw out the bad. And we think this is probably the most important, is because it's who is it coming from? So we do that, and we bring that into patreon.com/MM&crew, and then you guys can also find us in the Militia Man's chat room and our free Discord chat room. So come on in and see the value and enjoy. Thanks for being with us. If you like, hit that like button, because we did hit over 50,000. We appreciate all the donations. Thank you so much and appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.